Today we're going to be discussing the impact of COVID on nursing home abuse and neglect cases. My name is Barry Doyle. I'm a lawyer in Skokie practicing nursing home abuse and neglect work throughout the state of Illinois. I'm also the author of Built to Fail, a free report available for download from my website, which spells out how the nursing home business model inevitably produces unnecessary injuries and deaths for nursing home residents. To say the least, COVID has been a major issue in the long-term care industry. Many people are aware that many nursing home residents have fallen ill and in fact died due to COVID. Past that, there are a number of impacts on how nursing home abuse and neglect cases have to be investigated and prosecuted going forward, especially in the near term after the pandemic comes to an end. One of the basic things I believe about nursing home abuse and neglect cases is that they are different from medical malpractice cases in one main regard, and that is in how the defendants are regarded. I always say that people like their doctor, they trust their hospital, but nobody wants to go to a nursing home. Nursing homes, in the eyes of most jurors before the pandemic, were effectively presumptively guilty of providing poor care. One of the early seminars I went to involving nursing home abuse and neglect cases involved a speaker who was a defense lawyer on one of my cases. And one of the things that he said to me that has always stuck out to me in how I look at nursing home abuse and neglect cases is that he says, the care, you can't defend these cases based on the care because the care itself is often indefensible. You have to defend them based on the comorbidities, because it's in essence saying that he can't defend cases based on the care, but he can defend them based on the fact that nursing home residents are quote unquote old and sick, and that's where the defense lied. Now, with medical malpractice cases, the care is often aggressively defended, whereas in nursing home cases they're not, simply because the staff in nursing homes really aren't as well regarded in the medical profession as doctors and nurses who work in like a hospital setting. The early results from focus groups that have looked at the impact of COVID on nursing homes is that there's been a little bit of a change in the perception of nurses who work in a nursing home setting, because they really have done difficult, hazardous work during the pandemic and are really being more highly regarded by potential jurors. And this is something that has to be looked at closely during the jury selection process. Another impact of COVID on nursing home abuse and neglect cases is the financial impact. Now, virtually every nursing home has at least one COVID case in it. Some have several dozen. I know of a handful of nursing homes where every single resident got COVID. There are some nursing homes where there were over 100 COVID cases. But most nursing homes carry commercial insurance policies, but they certainly don't carry enough insurance to cover dozens or even hundreds of claims against them involving COVID. And in fact, many of the insurers that write insurance policies for nursing homes are explicitly excluding COVID claims from coverage. Either way, this has a significant impact on the financial ability of nursing homes to pay out claims, because every nursing home is at least potentially subject to having several claims made against them based on COVID. Many of the nursing homes are under significant financial distress from COVID, simply because they were incurring additional costs for PPE, for masks, for additional staffing, for having to use staffing agencies to cover nurses who were out due to being quarantined, or simply not being able to meet the staffing needs of for the facility otherwise. So all of these places were under financial distress to begin with. Many are taking on insurance policies that have really significant self-insured retentions, which is essentially a deductible. I have seen self-insured retentions climbing up to over $250,000. This means that in any case that is going to tap into the insurance, you have to put the nursing home in a position where they are concerned about getting hit for over $250,000 of damages. And this requires developing a case very carefully. This is really going to change the complexity of the cases that are going to be put on. These cases need to be worked up very aggressively by lawyers who really understand nursing home abuse and neglect cases very closely. For the same reason, we also need to be alert of the potential to bring in affiliated defendants. Many nursing homes are operated where there are a number of shells which are involved in the operation of a nursing home. There's a licensee entity which actually has the license from the state to operate the nursing home. There's a real estate company which actually owns the real estate where the nursing home sits, and there's a management company that actually manages the nursing home. Often these three entities, the real estate company, the management company, and the operating entity, are all operated by the same people, and the money is flowing from one entity to another. If we are looking at a nursing home abuse and neglect case, we need to be very aware of this, and we need to be very careful to be bringing in entities that have some financial exposure to make sure that when we get to the end of the case, that there is going to be a defendant left who has some financial ability to pay any type of a verdict or settlement in the event that insurance coverage is exhausted, or that there simply isn't another avenue for recovery. So these are all new considerations that are coming out of the COVID era, and it's all the more reason that families need to be very careful to bring on a lawyer who really understands nursing home abuse and neglect cases well, to make sure that their interests are very carefully protected. Hope you found this interesting. If you have any questions regarding this or any other nursing home abuse and neglect matter, please feel free to reach out to us. Our number is 312-263-1080, or we can be reached on the internet at www.accidentlawillinois.com. Thanks for watching.